Your unanswered prayers aren't proof that God is ignoring you. They may be the loudest evidence that He's protecting you. The silence you've been calling neglect might actually be divine intervention in disguise. Because not all delay is denial, and not all unanswered prayers are a no. Some are a not yet, and others are a you have no idea what you're asking for. James 4:3 says, "You ask and do not receive because you ask wrongly," which means your heart posture matters as much as your words. God is not a genie responding to wishful thinking. He's a father shaping you through process, pruning, and sometimes painful pauses. If the breakthrough hasn't come, it might be because your character is still catching up to your calling. What you're praying for might be holy, but your motives might still be selfish. You say you want the blessing, but would it still draw you closer to God or make you forget Him? Once it arrives, this is the hidden war between desire and discipline, and heaven doesn't fund idols dressed up as miracles. Some prayers aren't answered because you're asking from a place of woundedness instead of surrender, trying to manipulate outcomes instead of submitting to God's plan. And here's the part that hurts. Sometimes God withholds what you begged for because He knows it would destroy you. That relationship you wanted so badly, maybe it would have poisoned your purpose. That job you thought was a blessing, maybe it was a distraction in disguise. That open door you cried over when it shut, Psalm 84:11 says He withholds no good thing from those who walk uprightly. So if He withheld it, it wasn't good for you. Another reason you may not see answers is because spiritual warfare is active over your life. Daniel prayed and didn't get a response for 21 days. Not because God didn't hear, but because a demonic force was delaying the answer. What if what you're calling unanswered is actually under attack? That's why Ephesians 6:12 reminds you, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but spiritual forces. Your faith must outlast the silence, because silence is not absence. It's often strategy. God may be silent because He's working on something bigger than your request. He's not in a rush. He's eternal. And maybe the prayer He's answering is not the one you prayed, but the one you would have prayed if you knew what He knows. When Jesus prayed in Gethsemane, He asked the Father to take the cup away, but ended with, "Not my will, but yours." That's the prayer hell fears most, not the desperate cry, but the surrendered heart. So if you've been praying and nothing's moved, don't panic. Pause and ask, am I praying God's will or my own agenda? Am I trusting His timing or trying to force my own? The danger isn't unanswered prayer. It's losing faith before the answer comes. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. And the more silent heaven seems, the more you should stay planted, worship deeper, and trust harder. Because when the answer finally comes, it won't just be what you wanted. It'll be what you needed.